The Pittsburgh Steelers win in stunning fashion with monster points, Sean. What is up, dude? What is
What?
up?
Oh man, what a crazy game. That was a fun game. That was fun. Um, a little
Wow.
concerning, obviously, for our defense. That's a little concerning, but man, what an offense, huh?
Oh, my. Wow. Wow. Wow is all I can say. I haven't seen a Pittsburgh Steelers team put up that many points, Sean, in so very, very long, bro. That's so crazy to me to see. That we've been wanting to see that, We've been wanting to see Russell Wilson and this offense put up those kinds of numbers. That's what you expect from a quarterback like Russell Wilson, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you got a veteran quarterback going in there that's won the big game, went all the way. He's been to the distance. Like, yeah, we want to see some big numbers and great productivity, and we got a little taste of that today. Nice,
Yeah, James Bauman in the chat, he says, you called her big play. I called Peyton Wilson. I'll take the combo. Didn't I say that I thought he was going to
dude.
score?
Yeah, you did. You hit the nail on the head,
I
bro.
was just
I
making
mean,
sure.
our instincts are right there. Everybody, mic drop sports. We know what's up. We know what's going down.
Yes, and our fans in this chat, you guys know exactly what's going on. You guys are never letting me down, man, with what exactly everything that you guys know and talk about. It's awesome. So make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Absolutely. Thank you, James. Finally, a quicker passes and use the middle a little bit more. What'd you think, Sean, about them utilizing those running backs like you predicted in the well, you wanted to see it, you predicted it to happen in the pregame show with Najee Harris, with Jalen Warren, with everybody underneath there. That was special.
Yeah, I think we saw, a lot more first downs today. They were moving the ball, and not only were they moving the ball down the field, they continued to move the ball within the red zone, and that's been a huge thing. So, um, that's just all good signs. It's exactly what I wanted to see. They still did the toss, here and there with Najee Harris, and we
Yeah.
see what that gets us. Nothing's changed. But these like screens and these dump passes, I mean, they are effective, huh?
Yeah, they worked. They did good, man. I wasn't all for like the bubble screens, which is I'm glad they didn't do those. But what you were talking about and what they did there was absolutely beast mode, man. Brian Hamford says George Pickens for president. Geesh, we got ourselves a GP problem. GP, I'm not sure what you'd call that today, man. Some of them penalties were backbreakers with the personal foul stuff. I do think that he got flagrantly ripped to the ground by his helmet on that pick six that wasn't called. What do you think about George Pickens, Sean, his overall performance today and what he did for this Pittsburgh Steelers team, good and bad?
He is a superstar, man. That guy's got amazing ability to go out there and wreak havoc on any defense. The thing is, he has to learn to stop with the celebrating and being immature on the field, if you will. You got to act like you've been there before. It's just a first down. Like, I understand he was thrown on the ground by the back of his head and there was no call on that. That's frustrating. And that probably, made him play with a bit more of a chip on his shoulder. But you got to keep your emotions in check. This is the NFL. That can really
Yeah.
cost your team. And it cost them multiple times today. And if it wasn't for those two penalties, the Steelers could have maybe walked that game through a lot easier because who knows? Those drives could have led to points.
Yeah, especially that one late in the third there. He got that penalty, that second unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that thankfully didn't get him ejected from the game. They were in like the 13-yard line with that play. That's like touchdown city there with the way that they were playing in this game. I would have loved to seen what would have happened there. They could have maybe ripped this game open a little bit. They had that opportunity there where they were building points, but what an amazing day by I want to get off the offense for a little bit because we are going to talk a lot about them and I'm sure a lot about their performance here today. But the defense, yes, they had some moments where they completely got torched. Joey Porter Jr., what do you think about all those penalties? Is this a bad sign or is this just a product of playing a really good offense and a really good receiver in Jamar Chase?
I think it was bad, and yeah, it was costing the team today. I was getting frustrated seeing the flags come down on number 24, but at the same time, like it is the AFC North, and he's trying to shut down Jamar Chase, and you got to be physical with these guys. And there's a reason why they didn't put up, more points than the Steelers today, and that's because they were getting shut down a lot today, but they also got cooked. So I kind of see it as a problem right now.
Yeah.
It really is killing the team.
Yeah, it was definitely an issue. Now, can he rebound from it? But he's had this problem here for a while. We'll just hope that these are just a lot of the growing pains and just getting it done. He didn't give up a ton of touchdowns and things of that nature. But yeah, the penalties were just killer, man. It was not good. He did give up some points, but hey, it is what it is. We'll just figure that out hopefully as the season progresses. But this Pittsburgh Steelers defense causes turnovers in timely situations, which was nice, Sean. Nick Herbig, TJ Watt, Preston Smith, they were the story. Cam Hayward, what a day by the old man. He had a phenomenal game, one of the best I've ever seen him play, to be honest, if you looked at this game as a whole. But they were really putting pressure on the edges, which were setting back those tackles of the Cincinnati Bengals further and further, causing illegal formations and things of that nature. They were jumping off sides. They were really, really there in a big way, making their presence known here today. What'd you think, Herbig, Watt, Hayward? What'd you think of that duo, along with Keanu and Larry?
I think they did pretty dang good. They got after the quarterback. They had their sacks today. They caused turnovers, but they did let up a lot of big plays. Run plays and pass plays. So, I mean, it is concerning. But, like, as far as the defensive line, man, I think they played pretty dang good considering the fact it's Joe Burrow. And that guy is a playmaker and a baller. And, some of the plays that he was making today was pretty amazing. Like, he was stepping up in the pocket, running right up in there and jumping to the side. Like, he's both feet off the ground and completing passes. So, I was pretty impressed with Joe Burrow's performance today, but you got to give credit to the Steelers defensive line for containing him long enough for our team to go out there and get a
Yeah.
W.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And also, I wanted to bring this up before I forget. Calvin Austin in the concussion protocol, guys. This after making some big catches, making that touchdown catch. He's taking some significant hits, Sean. It's starting to worry me a little bit. The way he gets fucking pounded, bro. This is every week. This just wasn't a one-off today. This is every single week. What'd you think about some of those masterful hits, those punishing hits by the Cincinnati Bengals on Calvin Austin? Is it his size? What is this?
Yeah, he's a really small guy, and you're going to take some big hits like that, especially if your quarterback's going to throw it out there, knowing that the safety is coming down on you. Running downhill. Russell was just kind of throwing that ball out there today, but
Yeah,
that's kind of what I want. And as a wide receiver, you need to just prepare for that hit the best you can. And unfortunately for Calvin Austin the third, he's a really small guy out there, and he's going to take those big licks. And
yeah.
Edelman and all these guys have had to make adjustments like this, and all we could say is go hit the gym, man, and try to get as much muscle as you can on.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. You're going to get waxed. But yes, no doubt. It's just a little worrisome. Hopefully, Cal will be okay. What's up, Mike Miller? What's up, Travis? What's up, Thomas Breeze? TD, another Wombat, Big Russ, Joe, Downtown, John Broadway. Everybody in the chat, make sure you are double tapping that screen for us here on Steel City Live, our live Pittsburgh Steelers pregame, our post game show. Here, I'm Jason. That's Sean. We are here live each and every week talking Pittsburgh Steelers football. In the first half, Sean, I wanted to bring this up a little bit about the offense. Everybody talking about Russ and GP. Russell Wilson, 257, two touchdowns and an interception in the first half of play. That was pretty good for a guy that's supposed to be washed up, wouldn't you say? And he finished with 29 of 38 for 14 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, a 126.4 passer rating. Not bad for the old man.
Jeez, man. Yeah, I think he just has the guy's on fire compared to what we've had with, in the past, the recent past. This is amazing. And for an old washed up guy, I'll take that any time of the year, man. He's doing great.
No doubt. He outdueled Joe Burrow today. Joe Burrow, 28 of 38, 309 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception, and a 112.7 passer rating, Sean. He outdueled one of the league's best, bro. Did he not?
Hey, man, old man power, old man strength. It's real.
Hey, team old man, baby. Team old man. That's what I'm talking about, Russ. What'd you think about Najee Harris's performance? And do you think Arthur Smith has the biggest man crush in the entire world on Cordell Patterson to continue to see him in moments when you should see Jaylen fucking Warren, my friend. Why? I love Patterson, but they are overusing the living shit out of Cordell Patterson. He should not be in there in some of those situations when you have Jaylen Warren sitting on the damn bench.
I fully agree with you, and I don't have an answer for that one either. I found myself questioning the same thing after you pointed it out to me. It says, "You're right, man. I'm seeing a lot of Patterson and not very much Jaylen Warren, and that is just going to be a mystery to me." There's a lot of things today that I kind of scratch my head on, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, why, Mike Tomlin? Why?
Yes. Well, they did get the tight ends involved, Sean. Pat Fryermuth, 6 catches, 68 yards, and a tutty. And you got Darnell Washington involved with 1 catch, 10 yards. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 different receivers today from Russell Wilson. That's spreading the ball around, my friend. That's how you get it the fuck done, baby.
That's that veteran presence that we wanted to see, and it sure is. It's like a breath of fresh air.
Yes, and that's what we were talking about this offseason that everybody wanted to act like we were freaking crazy about. That this team had a multitude of weapons already on the offensive side of the football, but everybody wants to add everybody. They were just so hell bent on the Steelers not having enough. But you look at this. That's 10 different guys, Sean, that can use the or get the football. And that's not counting 2 players that I know can contribute in Connor Hayward and Mike Williams that didn't get the ball in this game, but you look at 10 others that did.
And they were like big time plays too. Like I remember that one drive in the third quarter, like when it was just like the heat of the battle, and they hit the tight ends like 3 passes out of 4 times on that one drive,
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah.
"Here we go!" And they were in the middle of the field too. It was like, "This is what we wanted to see, you guys," and I am enjoying the ride.
Yes, man. And Doug asks, where is Mike Williams? Man, I don't know. He played a lot after Calvin went out, but he was not targeted. What do you think the issue is? I'm kind of out of ideas, I think, here on why Mike Williams isn't being incorporated, short of he's just not what the Steelers thought that he was going to be. What do you think may be the issue of why Mike Williams isn't being targeted and utilized in this offensive system?
Maybe he's struggling to learn the playbook. I mean, there's a ton of questions that could come to my mind. Maybe he's got an issue, like an injury that they don't want to talk about right now. Because we know how the media will blow that shit up and turn that
Hmm.
into a whole different kind of problem. So who knows? But we just got to trust in the plan and the process, and know that
Hopefully.
we got other guys out there that are going to make plays. And my hat's off to Calvin Austin today. He was making some big plays out there, even though he was getting lit up. So great job to
Yes.
that guy.
Here's a staggering statistic for you, my friend, that you haven't heard from the Pittsburgh Steelers stat sheet in probably many, many, many years. Corliss Waitman, 1 punt, 38 yards, end of discussion, nothing else. That was it. 1 punt in this football game, Sean. 1. That's pretty
Wow.
awesome.
Great job. The offense did great today. Like I said, they were pushing the field and going deep into the red zone. I think the longest field goal attempt today was 50 yards by the Boz. And of course, we all know he's
Mhm.
going to hammer those all day long. So, wow.
Yes, and
Yeah,
I
today was
want to
great.
bring I wanted to bring up this before I forget too. Another unsung hero of this football game that didn't show up in crazy splash plays, Sean, for yet another week. A man after your heart, after kind of named after you, Deshaun Elliott, a monster game leading the Pittsburgh Steelers with 11 tackles today total. He was a difference maker, and I don't think a lot of people understood just how valuable Deshaun Elliott really was in the back end of that defense. I thought Deshaun Elliott was a real star, but yet lacked that splash, you know?
That guy seems to just show up each and every week when he's on the field. That guy makes plays, and like you said, even when he's not making plays, he's stopping other people from making plays. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, he's lights out. I love the guy.
No doubt. We're going to get back to the chat, guys, here in a second, but I want to make sure you are double tapping that screen, hitting that like button for us here on Steel City Live, our live Pittsburgh Steelers post game show. Make sure you are liking the show. All you got to do is double tap or hit those 3 little white dots up in the right hand corner of the screen. Send us out into the YouTube algorithm. I'm Jason, that's Sean. I wanted to talk about a pivotal moment I thought in this football game that could have changed the tides for the worse for the Pittsburgh Steelers. At a moment where you thought they were really going to start taking control, the defense was starting to look good. Cameron Hayward got a big sack, forcing a 3rd and 16 at the time. However, Joe Burrow was able to convert a 3rd and 21 after a false start penalty by the Bengals. And I thought that that might have been the beginning of the end for the Steelers, man. What did you think about the ability of Joe Burrow to hit those big chunk plays? Do you think this is a one off by Joe Burrow, considering the way they've played against other quarterbacks? Or do you think these chunk plays might be something that we got to get used to and hopefully Russ can keep pace with the score?
Man, good question. And I think that I don't think it's something you need to get used to. It's something you need to prepare for. And when you're going against quarterbacks like as good as Joe Burrow, who can stand in the pocket and deliver the football and anticipate the throw, you got to watch out for these big long plays, over 20+ yard plays, because he's looking downfield at all times. And even when he runs out of the pocket, his eyes are downfield, and he's going to extend that play until the one of the wide receivers can find some time to get open and make that catch. So that kind of puts a lot of pressure on our defensive backs. They gotta stay on these receivers for a little bit longer, a few extra seconds every single
Yeah,
play, and that shit wears you down. So that's why I was saying, good job, but at the same time, you got to keep your hands off, try the best you can, because those flags were killing us on the secondary unit. But man, Joe Burrow really, he brings that element to the game, and that's, yeah. So I don't know, bro. Like, I don't think you should
hmm
say to get used to it. That's what I'm saying. You got to be prepared.
yes, no doubt, man. Najee did score on the pitch, James. I still don't want to see it either, man. It still drives me crazy. But let's talk about the running game, Sean, and what you thought of that. Did you think that Najee Harris rebounded today? 16 carries, 75 yards, 20 yards is his long with a touchdown. Patterson, 3 carries, 16 yards. Jalen Warren, only 3 carries, 9 yards, but had some significant pass plays. One for 29. That was a big one in this game. What'd you think about the run game? What'd you think about that last play from Justin Fields?
Oh man, I was nervous because as we were talking about in the pregame, I was thinking if Justin Fields comes onto the field, he's gonna run the ball. So I would be all over that. So I was just like, okay, here they go. They're gonna stop this guy. There's no way he's gonna get 3 or 4 yards here. And sure enough, he jumped out there and took off.
Mhm.
And I was shocked to see him get it, and at the same time, like, really happy to see him get it. But man, that
Yeah.
was scary.
Yeah, I was nervous too, dude. And I don't know how the hell, because the Bengals offensive or defensive sideline was screaming, he's gonna keep the ball, and they still didn't play. You could hear it on TV. Mel Mills says, I think the favorite part of you guys cast lately is Sean's sign off. Positive vibes. Have a great day, even if the Steelers struggle. Good stuff, brother. I like Sean too. He's a sweetheart.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. And I appreciate all you guys. It's always fun to come on here and talk football with everybody.
Yes, Sean will be available in 2026 at the draft for all autograph sessions.
Yeah, I'll
Uh,
devalue all your products.
I'll devalue all your products. Let me put my John Hancock on there. All right, guys. The Pittsburgh Steelers win in stunning fashion with a monster performance today by the Steelers. They improved to 9-3. Sean, we will get back into the chat as much as possible, guys. I'm trying not to keep. I'm trying to keep track of it, but there's so many things that I wrote down here that I wanted to talk about. But Sean, look ahead a little bit here. The Steelers now 9-3. What do you think about their chances now to not only make the playoffs, which is, I think, a absolute certainty now, but what do you think their chances are to continue to win ball games and continue to climb that ladder in the conference and possibly be one of the top 3 seeds in the AFC?
Chances are really good, I'd say. We still got, a healthy offense considering. And, the defense is my main concern right now, which is kind of shocking because we have such a great defense. They're even ranked like in the top 5 in every category. But
Yeah.
they're giving up a lot of big plays, you guys. And that's concerning to me because we do have the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs,
Yes.
coming to town soon, and we got to tighten it up there at the seams. So,
Yeah.
but I still like our chances. I'm not. The Steelers are a great team this year. There's something magical going on.
Do you still stand behind your 12-5, or do you think you're shortchanging them? What do you think? Do you think they'll be 12-5, or do you think that they might be a little bit better than that?
Man, I'm gonna stick with the 12-5, man.
I think you're
I
pretty
feel good
accurate.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
they're gonna
think you're
drop a
pretty
few.
accurate. Yeah, no doubt. I think I'm off by a few, and I think you're going to be pretty damn accurate. I said 10-6, or 11-6, 10-7. I thought that that was where they were going to be, but I think I'll be definitely a few games under what they are going to be. And I think you probably hit it on the head here, man. There are some tough matchups to play, and too, Sean. Once you get down to the nitty gritty here at the end, you might not be playing people. You never know the scenario, so it's very hard to predict those. So we'll see. I think Sean's going to be pretty accurate with that. Ugly win, but we'll take it. Challenger says JPJ played like shit. 5 pass interference calls. Pickens needs to grow up. He almost cost us dearly. Sean, I don't pay George Pickens if he can't get his emotions under control, man. I'm sorry. Do you think that this is something that's going to cost him a contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because you know that they won't deal with it. They'll ride you until they can't ride you no more and kind of just go without you. You know how they are. They don't really care. And do you think this is going to cost George long term? Or do you think this is something he might be able to get under control? Hopefully.
I honestly feel like it's something they can get under control. I know that a lot of people feel like he is a hothead, and including myself. I just see him as a passionate player, and I like that kind of fire in a locker room when you got a guy out there that wants to win so bad, and he wants to
Yeah,
win on each and every play. So I feel like as a coach, you got to find a way to just control that and get him in some kind of in a space in his own head to where he knows he's the great player on the field, and you don't have to showboat it. Go out there, do your job, and get back in the huddle and just do your wait for after the game. You can celebrate all you want after the game in the locker
you're
room.
right.
So that's how I feel, bro.
Yeah. What's up, Big Dave Elliott? Good to see you, buddy. I have to say something before we continue to move on, and Mike Tomlin apologists are going to probably jump down my throat. I thought he had a good moment with George on the sideline trying to calm him down. I thought that was a good moment. But Sean, his mismanagement of the clock there, not getting a chance at taking a shot at the end zone, wasting 8 to 9 seconds off the clock. That was completely Bush League bullshit. That was complete and utter unacceptable a showing from the Pittsburgh Steelers head man. I'm sorry. This isn't the first time it's happened. This is something that's been continually a problem, my friends. This is an issue with Mike Tomlin. If he does not go out tomorrow and hire somebody to fucking manage the clock and help him out a little bit, he is making a grave mistake, Sean. What'd you think about that? Honestly, I'd fire your ass if it's me. If you blatantly fuck up that bad, Sean, I fire you. That's bad. I'm sorry. I think it was inexcusable.
I think it's the worst clock management I've ever seen in my whole life. Honestly,
Yes.
I'm talking about when I played in Pee Wee football. Like
Yeah.
we had better clock management than that. So
Yes. Dude,
I
he
don't
don't know
know.
when to do these things, Sean. He doesn't know when to take penalties sometimes. He doesn't know whether to manage the clock in certain situations in certain ways. Dude, it costs you games. Like you said, Pee Wee team. I had a coach lose a game this year. My son ended up recovering a fumble in the end zone to ice a game because he was too stupid to accept the penalty and give us another chance at a try to go in the end zone. Instead, he took the ball at the half-yard line like a freaking moron. That's Bush League shit, bro. You can't do. You got to know the fucking rules, bro. You got to
Yeah.
know the clock.
Yeah,
Oh,
8 seconds, bro. That's a whole nother play they could have ran and probably put in for another 6 points. But hey, you know what? We got the bars, huh? And
yeah.
that's frustrating. I'm not saying that like, hey, thank God. That's me being sarcastic.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. I'm sorry, Chris Boswell, another stellar performance. The block field goal, it happens every once in a while. Chris Boswell, still Chris Boswell. But, dude, I'm sorry, guys. Mike Tomlin is going to cost us a big game, Sean. Do you think these issues that continually go on, Sean, this year, when you have an excellent opportunity to move far ahead inside of the playoffs, do you think that this could potentially end up costing the Pittsburgh Steelers a fucking playoff game?
Oh man, it better not. And if it does, that's got to fall on Tomlin too for allowing this shit to continue. So if something doesn't
Yeah.
change, like, and I mean stat sooner than already there, then
Yeah.
there's bigger problems than we know about, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. Sean, somebody said, you are so cool, Sean. Go Steelers. That's from Mike Miller. You're getting a
Hey,
lot of compliments today. I love it, Sean. I
what's
love
up,
it.
Mike Miller? Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that, man.
I
Makes me
love
feel
it,
good.
guys. I
All
love
right.
you guys showing love to Sean. I appreciate it. He gets to come on here and get to share some days with us each week. So I appreciate that. Russ says, great bringing Fields in to end the game. I don't like it, but it worked. So I'm okay with it. I still don't like it, Sean. I don't like it. I think it doesn't work really, really well at a high enough level to be comfortable with it. Like you said, you were nervous when that happened. You shouldn't be nervous for those, you know?
I knew he was going to keep the ball and run it, and I think a lot of other people probably knew the same thing. You could even hear it, like you said, on the TV. He's going to
Yeah.
hold the ball, and yeah, I was like, okay, if he gets this, it's a miracle, and I witnessed a miracle.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Douglas Ball says Pickens and JPJ are both easily fixable, but Russ and the other veterans need to be in his ear at all times to help fix it. Tomlin's mistakes will cost us huge at some point this year. I think so too. Did you see also big Cam Hayward not only playing one of his best games as a Pittsburgh Steeler, if you ask me, sacks, block passes that created that turnover, that interception for Dante Jackson. And by the way, Sean, who won that trade for Dante Jackson and Deontay Johnson? Who won that trade, my friends? Everybody that was in the chat saying that it was the monster mistake, and we kept telling them, no, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. It keeps proving and ringing true. We won't rub that in, but just saying. What'd you think about Big Cam Hayward's leadership today? Leadership, being in the ear of George Pickens at the end of the game, telling him, don't worry about it, calm down, get inside of your own self, not being worried about the outside noise. What'd you think about Big Cam and those leadership moments and what that means to this Steelers football team?
It's exactly what we need him for, man, to go out there and be a leader. And that's why he's there. And I'm a huge fan of Cam Hayward. And what a day. That's what I kept saying today is what a day, Cam Hay. Man, he's
What a
out there.
day.
My favorite play was when he got in the backfield and lit that running back up. I was so
Yeah.
pumped. I jumped up off my seat. I was like, yeah, that a boy. Oh,
Dude, that
man.
was stellar play. He blew that play up, Sean. Not only that, he blew up Joe Burrow for a big sack just the same way it looked like. What a day by Big Cam Hayward. All right, guys, make sure you are hitting that like button for us. You just double tap that screen. Give Sean and I a like here on the best show in America. It is. It is. It's not just YouTube, it's America. The whole kit and caboodle. But anyway, it's a Steelers Live post game show here. I'm Jason. That's Sean. Mike Miller says, my treat, Jason and Sean, buying beer for both of you. Let's go, Steelers. Hey,
All
we'll
right.
take that virtual beer, bro. We'll take that virtual beer. You want to buy us a beer, you can go ahead and put it in the super chats for us. We'll get that. Thank you. Yeah, no doubt. Wave that towel for Miss Pittsburgh on a big Steelers win. Here's some more notes, Sean, that I have that have been in my head here. Broderick Jones, what'd you think about his game? Do you think that young Broderick bounced back here today? Did you like his performance overall in Cincinnati in Week 13?
I saw improvements, and that's all I can ask
Me
for.
too.
Is as long as he's improving each and every week until the season's over, and then continue each and every year, I'm going to be a happy camper. So I'm happy with what Project brought to the table today.
Douglas Ball says, love you guys together after the game. Batman and Robin of Steelers Nation. I'll let you guys decide who's Batman and who's Robin. Sean kicks that. Sean is Batman. I'm a role player, baby. I'm a role
Oh
player,
man,
Sean. That's how I roll, baby. I'm a role player, but we appreciate the love, guys. Thank you very, very much. Again, double tap that screen. Give us that like. That is the important thing. Give us that like. Double tap or hit your drop down box. I'm trying to go over some of these other notes too. TJ Watt being TJ. Hold on. When there was a
yeah.
defined, yeah. Defense as a whole though was bad. I thought most of the time they gave up too many points, but TJ was TJ, man. He continues to impact the game no matter if it's sacks or not. But that strip sack of Joe Burrow, did you think that that was the moment this game started to feel a little bit more in that Steelers favor, in the Steelers' favor? Did you think that that was probably one of those big momentum swings that really changed the complexity of this football game?
I do, because prior to that, it was almost like the Bengals seemed unstoppable for a minute. So until we saw that strip sack and we started seeing, points come up on, after taking the ball away, that was a very good sign to me. The fact that they didn't just, get a turnover, go out there and do a 3 and out, and then give the ball right back was excellent. So I wanted to see a touchdown, because the drive I'm referring
Yeah.
to, they only got 3 points, but
Yes.
still they were able to take the ball away and put a couple more points on the board before letting them try again.
Today, Sean, I got to say this too before we continue. We'll get in the chat, guys. I apologize. We're trying to get to as many chat things as possible, but we're trying to talk about this game too. Um, this game as a whole today, I wasn't as mad about the Chris Boswell field goals in terms of, not getting enough touchdowns and just relying on Boz. He was 3 for 4, 50 being his long. He scored 14 points today for the Steelers. But I thought that there was a good mix today. I thought the Steelers did execute at times, but were able to lean on Chris Boswell when they needed to. Do you think that they played even with the bad defensive performance in terms of points allowed? Do you think that they actually kind of played a complete ball game today in all three phases, to where they had moments everywhere along the all along the team, to where this team actually looks complete a little bit?
I do. And on that note, sometimes it's not going to be pretty, but they were able to go out there and beat a team that needed a win today. That was a must-win win today for both teams. But the Bengals, they had to win today too, but because they did not, no playoffs for you guys. Sorry,
Yeah.
but you're out. You're
Who
out.
day?
And
Who
yeah,
who day, Sean? Who day?
they're not in the playoffs this year. That's who they are. And you know what else is? They were fighting for their lives today, and the Steelers were able to go out there and get the W. It wasn't pretty, but they got the win.
Yes.
So let's go.
Yes, you brought up the best point of the day right there. The Cincinnati Bengals were in a position that they had to fight for their life. You got their best effing shot. I guarantee you did. I'm sorry. They were fighting for it all. They had no margin for error. And this basically virtually knocks them out of the playoffs. They might mathematically have like a 2% chance now of being able to make it into the playoffs. But this was a backbreaker for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now that this becomes a two-horse race, where the Steelers and the Ravens basically, how do you like the Steelers' chances of being division champions? Do you think that they control this shit right now?
I think tonight's game against Philly is going to kind of like help me feel a certain way that I'm supposed to feel about that. But as far as inside the AFC North, I feel good about it, because I don't think the Browns have what it takes to beat us twice in 1 year. I think the Steelers are going to go and get a revenge game on the Browns, even if they don't have to. I still think they would, but I feel good, to answer the
Yes.
question.
No doubt. Let me get back into the chat a little bit, guys. Here, James Bauman. Did anyone else feel bad for Bengals corner when Washington was running him at him? I kind of did, because I knew he was going to get freaking trucked, Sean. But yeah, he was big, man. Robert Rhodes says, I felt all along that the Steelers would win this game, but they need to be better. Russ Cook today. I think so too. William Hanley, you guys are great. We passed. We got the win once again. Good job, guys. Thank you. We appreciate that. Russ says, 2018, guys, was the last time the Steelers scored that many points. I think you are accurate, Russ. I think it was in the Ben Roethlisberger era, quite some time ago. Marty Hill, Steelers Nation, let's go from Arizona. Downtown John Broadway says, to have a clean game means that both sides of the ball played well enough to put one's foot down. Yes, I agree. I thought, though, this was the drive where Chris Boswell, with 3:56 left in the game, Sean, 4th and 12, kicked that field goal, 30-yard field goal to put the Steelers up 44-31. I thought that drive right there, man, cemented this game, and like, it was over. But then I remember texting you after they scored with 2:43 remaining, where Joe Burrow passed to Adrani or whatever, Lovis, however you say his name, down the middle for a 3-yard touchdown pass. And McPherson punched in the extra point, making it 44-38. Were you nervous again, man? Because I kind of was.
Yeah, I was getting a little uncomfortable, because like you said, they kind of it's you can see when they change their game. Like now they're playing conservatively. They're just trying to kill the clock. The defense kind of looks like there's not the passion out there on the field. Everybody kind of feels like they got it in the bag. And it's like, well, hold up, guys. We still got a couple minutes on the clock here. And these guys are fighting for their lives, as we're saying. Like, you
Yes.
can't. You got to play a full 60 minutes all the way through. I don't care what the damn score is. It could be 42 to nothing. And if you want to play
Yes.
conservatively, then you take your first string guys out, put in your second string, and go out there and let them play their asses off.
Yes, no doubt. Looking ahead a little bit, Sean, I got to say something. Next week, December 8th, Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on CBS, you have the Pittsburgh Steelers squaring off against the Cleveland Browns. After you saw this game today, barring any weather events in Pittsburgh that day, do you see the Steelers now really getting moving here with their offense? And do you think that they put up a fucking number on the Cleveland Browns on December 8th in Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Yep, it's payback time, and not only that, I think that Miles Garrett poked a sleeping bear in T.J. Watt. He lit a fire there. He was running his mouth against the NFL's greatest defender, and what's that going
Yeah.
to do? It's going to make you go out there with the chip on your shoulder and say,
Hmm.
"I'm going to outwork you today." That's what's going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, Y2 Kelly says that the Ravens are looking good against the Eagles right now. It's probably coming down to our game against the Ravens next to determine the division, and what better way to do it. That game, Sean, is on December 21st on a Saturday. That game is part of this one, two, 3 game stretch within 10 days where the Pittsburgh Steelers, after they finish up with Cleveland, Sean, they play Philly, Baltimore, Kansas City in a row. What do you think with this 4 games in front of them? Cleveland, Philly, Baltimore, and Kansas City. Again, 3 games in 10 days. How do you think the Steelers come out of this? What do you think their record's going to be in those 4 games?
I'm going to say they're going to go in there and they're going to take 2-2. They're going to split. I can see a few games being dropped here, and if you're ever going to do it, it's going to be in these few weeks here.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking 2-2.
you say that, and then they play the Bengals on Sunday, January 5th, as the last game of the season. The Bengals probably won't even have Joe Burrow in at that time. He'll probably be sitting on the bench. That might be the 12-5, Sean. If they go 2-2, that might be dead nuts, 1000%, 12-5. I think you and Russ predicted that, or maybe somebody else did. They predicted 12-5 also, but man, you might be dead fucking nuts, Sean. You
I'll
might
take it.
be, man. You might be. The game that you're most worried about here, Sean, do you think that the Steelers can afford to go, or the games that you're most worried about, do you think the Steelers can afford to go 2-2? And do you think the Baltimore game will become that must win game for the Steelers in 2024, the back half of the season here?
I think it is going to come down to that Baltimore game. I think it's going to be everything on the line. It's going to be a classic AFC North rivalry football game where they're going to have to go out there and lay it all on the line. That's what
Yes.
would make such a great, awesome, amazing season to go out there and not only win, but when you win games like that and you go through a gauntlet like you just went through and you still come out with a record like that, that
Yeah.
says you got a Super Bowl caliber team to me.
Yeah, I think they're contenders, Sean. I do. I don't care what anybody says. I think the Steelers have a real shot. So if they beat Cleveland next week, Sean, that puts them at 10-3. Then you're going into that Philadelphia game. You need Baltimore to lose once or twice here in the next couple weeks. Even with the Steelers, I think it's a must. The Baltimore Ravens again, 8-4. Kelly says they're looking good, so we'll see how that goes. Pittsburgh says that was one hell of a game. You might see the Steelers do anything with the Cincinnati Bengals. With them Cincinnati Bengals when they play, it's always on Showtime. It's definitely awesome, no doubt about a good rivalry game. Wave that terrible towel for Miss Pittsburgh. Russ says, I decided I can't miss my grandson's first Christmas, so I sold my Chiefs tickets and doubled my money. So gonna buy him CDs or bonds with them. Good, awesome, Russ. That's awesome and way to be a good grandfather, man. Roberta Campbell, the
Absolutely.
biggest issues I saw was Pickens needs to get his head in the game and don't do stupid things that potentially keeps points off the board and pushes the Steelers back. Porter needs to clean up his game. Absolutely. Sean, that's just I think the biggest takeaway from this game is the lack of discipline at times. And that doesn't go for just George Pickens. You see it along this roster in several positions. Van Jefferson throwing the football after he got that big first down, that big catch. That could easily been a delay of game penalty because the Bengals were trying to preserve time and continue to get things moving. So that could have actually been a delay of the game penalty because he threw the football like that. So he's lucky that didn't happen. But what is your biggest takeaway, Sean, from today's game? The Pittsburgh Steelers, Cincinnati Bengals, Week 13. What's your biggest takeaways, good and bad, here to start wrapping this show down?
Man, my biggest takeaway is the Steelers are capable of going out there and playing all the way and playing like basically a 100% complete scheme. When I'm saying that is going out there and starting a game and getting a full drive like all the way down the field through the red zone into the touchdown area. Scoring touchdowns is what I'm getting at. Before, my major concern was these guys aren't scoring touchdowns. These guys are kicking way too many field goals. And today I feel like they went out there and proved themselves as they can fully drive the field and get inside the red zone and still keep pushing forward into the end zone. And to me, that speaks volumes. It's like they answered so many questions. Can they do that? Can they go into the late half of the season and play these elite teams, and keep up with the elite quarterbacks? Can they go up and put 30 plus points on the board against a Joe Burrow? And soon we're going to be going against Patrick Mahomes. And to me, that was answered today. They can. Now my only concern is the defense.
Right. Yeah, me too. I think the defense hopefully can tighten up a little bit. I think they've remained healthy. And my biggest takeaways from this game is that the Steelers are for real, and people did overreact, like we talked about to start last week after the Cleveland Browns loss. People in Steelers Nation overreacted. And do you remember this, Sean? And I want to remind everybody of this. Do you remember after Russell Wilson, they lost to the Browns? They only scored field goals against the Ravens. They weren't putting up a shit ton of points. Do you remember how everybody said that they wanted to bench him? And then today, all you see on Twitter is how great Russ is and Russ cooks. Isn't that so odd how things change so rather quickly with people? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. When Sean tells you to relax, calm down, have good vibes, take a deep breath, this is the NFL, baby. This is at its finest, Sean. It's at its finest.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen it this whole season. We know what we got in Pittsburgh. These guys are all in denial. All these analysts were saying a year prior to Russ even coming here that he was trash and he was washed up and he couldn't play in Denver, even though he went out there and threw over 27 touchdowns.
Yes, no doubt. Let's count this up, Sean. 6 and 5. So the Steelers in their 3 losses this year, Sean, have lost by a combined total of 11 points. That's all. They're 11 points shy, Sean, of being undefeated. And I think that's where people blow this shit out of proportion. And I know the losses were to Cleveland. I know the losses were to the Cowboys and to the Colts. But again, this is the NFL. But Sean, that's how close this football team is to being an undefeated football team and real command of this conference, to be honest. Because I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs look that great. They're 11-1 right now, but I think they look like a beatable team, and I think they'll be resting people when they play the Steelers. So maybe they can get a top 3 seed. Do you want to see the Steelers in that 3 seed, or do you think it might be a tougher road at the 3 seed? Would you like to see them hopefully get up a little bit higher, because they might end up having to play a team like the Los Angeles Chargers in the first round of the playoffs if they are the 3 seed?
I want to see the Steelers in the number 1 seed. Number 1. That's where I want to see him. Not the 2, not 3. We need to be in the number 1 seat and go out there and enjoy a nice bye week and play at home in the postseason and really spank some ass and shut all these NFL analysts up already, because it's been years.
Yes, no doubt, man. Russ says, I keep saying we're going to win the Super Bowl. Not upset with our defense. Bengals are number 1 offense. Yeah, we'll just have to continue to watch it. That's just what we'll have to do, man. No doubt about it. But yes, flag on the play, guys. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be contenders. Everybody out there saying they're not, I don't know what they're talking about. So, all right, guys, we're going to start wrapping it up. Any closing thoughts, Sean, here before I wrap this show up? Again, it was great to have you again on another Sunday here, and we will be back again next Sunday for the Cleveland Browns game, and hopefully a little bit of redemption.
Yeah, before I say my closing thoughts, I just want to give a shout out to Travis Surf out there in the comments. He's been commenting, and that's my boy back in California. We used to go surfing all the time. What's up, buddy? Good to see you in the
Sorry.
chat.
Yeah, good to
Yeah,
see
no
you,
worries.
man. Sorry if I
And
missed them, man.
my closing thoughts is the same thing as it always is. Enjoy the ride. That's kind of been my theme
Mm,
today. Just remember to enjoy this ride because this is a special team. We got a special unit, and I think that we're going to see a nice, awesome, amazing playoff push this year. And yeah, I think the Steelers are going to be number one in the AFC North. This is awesome.
yes, no doubt. December 3rd, I believe Roberta is the premier Hard Knocks. So yeah, I just kind of like what Sean said again. Travis, good to see you. I didn't answer every comment, so sorry that I missed you. You guys that I didn't get to your comment, I apologize. We'll get back to them tomorrow on our regular scheduled show here on Steel City Live. We'll be back tomorrow night. I will put it in the community section, but shoot for 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That appears to be our best time to go live. That's where we get our most viewership. We've tried it every which way, so that's when we'll go. And also, Sean will be back again post game next week. We will have a full slate of shows, and we have a lot of topics to talk about this week. So there will be daily uploads each and every single day this week, also. So thank you again, Sean, and appreciate you guys, man. So thank you, man.
Thanks for having me, Jason. It's always a pleasure. Have a good night, everybody.
You too, bro. See you guys. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.